to episode 221 of the Watching It podcast. On today's episode, Donnell almost passes on the Olympics. Robert goes back to live action for a time.
Ooh.
And on this week's episode of Snowpiercer, that's the wrong food to grow in that car. I'm your host, Robert, and with me is Donnell. The Olympics, huh?
Yeah.
I have not watched. Well, that's untrue. I had to get my brakes done and oil change and all this stuff. So I was sitting at the place for several hours, and they had Olympic soccer.
Okay.
Which I have never watched a soccer match.
Okay.
I'm aware of it.
You're aware. It's
right? I will not call it football. It's soccer.
Yeah.
Okay. They taught us that. Then they changed it.
Yep. I mean, technically, they didn't change it. It was always football. We just, as Americans, decided to ignore that fact.
No, they called it soccer first. They taught us to call it soccer.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they changed it to football.
Okay. I mean, while I agree, I will always call it soccer. At the end of the day, the sport that we call football uses your hands way more than your foot. And the sport that they call football is all foot. So in a sense, I'm like, doesn't make more sense. I mean,
but you got to do the kickoff. That's the whole football. Anyway, whatever. We're not getting into it. Anyway,
exactly. Yeah.
First of all, soccer games, way too long.
Yeah.
Though it was the women's soccer. It was like the game was like 2 hours long. They were like 30 minutes of overtime or something. Nobody had scored a point. All the girls are just like walking.
Oh yeah.
There's no running going on.
Yeah.
And then men's water polo.
Okay.
And that's the most psychotic sport I've ever seen. As far as I can tell, the only way you score points is by getting the other team to like foul themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're hearing the commentator, and it's like every 1/2 second they're talking about someone that just committed a violation of the rules. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. Anyway, that's the only thing I saw, and I was kind of forced into it. I haven't watched anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I don't watch the Olympics ever, winter, summer. I usually will catch one or two events like in passing or something. And that's pretty much how I've been this year. The only difference is I have the Peacock streaming service where they are showing the Olympics, through that and stuff. And so occasionally when I've been bored, I've queued it up. And then also I actually had a similar experience. I needed some new tires, and so I was at the Toyota dealership. They had Olympics on, and so a couple of things I've noticed while watching the Olympics, and then also just looking up stuff, because I have kept track of like medal count and stuff just to see. So while I was at the Toyota dealership watching, they had women's indoor volleyball going on. USA versus...
Is there outdoor volleyball and indoor volleyball?
Yes, because we're going to get to that in a second. It was the women's USA versus... I can't remember what the other team was. USA, it was quarterfinals, but USA won. And so I was watching, and one of the I'm watching, and there's they're volleyball players. These are some tall women.
Yeah.
And then both teams had a short chick wearing a white shirt.
Okay.
Even though they had their team colors. And so
like
the whole time,
specific role?
Yeah. And so I'm like, who is this player and stuff? And so I started looking into it because I'm very curious, and found out it's something called libero or something. I don't know how to say exactly, but they're supposed to be the team's best defensive player, and are known for setting up plays, and they have a specific role. And the reason why they wear a different color, it doesn't have to be white, but it has to be a contrasting color to their team's jersey, is because for whatever reason the ref has to be able to see them at all times.
Okay.
I did a lot of trying to figure out why, because I read a lot of articles. I was like, yeah, they wear a different color jersey because the ref has to be able to see them at all times. Like, okay, cool. Why though? And I could not figure out why they needed to be visible at all times. And then I saw things like, oh, the libero, because they're a defensive player, they can't return serves. Like, oh,
yeah, they're not. They have to play in the back row.
Yeah,
they can't serve.
Yeah,
or spike the ball over the net.
Which
or move
would be very hard for them because they're short.
So they have rules. That's why the guy the person needs to be able to see them at all times and make sure they don't violate those rules. Yeah.
So while reading this, and if you play volleyball and you're a libero or however you say it, I mean no offense to you. It was just from watching this, I kind of got this feeling too, is that their coaches, there's been from different volleyball coaches, some of them say they feel like this role was made to give shorter people a reason
Yeah,
to
the
be on
short
the team.
part doesn't explain. I don't understand the short part.
And while I was watching this volleyball game, I saw both teams had one of them because you have to have one. And like, I'm not trying to insult these people because you should be able to play volleyball, but like, they couldn't even get, like, they're supposed to be the team's best defensive player. I'm like, they can't even get near the ball because.
Are they allowed to do anything?
Well, they're on the field and they're running around, but like, these other girls are freaking tall.
Yeah, like,
so
are they allowed to go out of bounds or something? Like, do they get extra?
Why do they gotta be short or something? So
it is hilarious looking at it, though. I mean, these ladies are tall.
Yes, like volleyball players.
And then you got this one really short person, like
who's
regular
probably not.
size
That's what I'm saying. Is like
human.
she's not actually short. She's probably just a normal size woman. Just that she's with these giant women who are just out here just smashing balls over the net. And so I was just like, I kind of, like I said, this is my only time watching volleyball. But I was like, I kind of agree with what some of the coaches are saying. Like, this is just a rule system made, so you give them a reason. Because like I'm not insulting them. I'm sure they're fantastic at playing volleyball, but just
Certainly
like
in
me,
better shape than me.
just like me playing basketball. One is I'm not that skilled, but let's say I was skilled. Me playing basketball with a group of guys who are 6'3" and above. I'm like, I'm not touching that ball. I mean, yes, there have been
It's
short
like if they
players,
put either of us on an NBA team.
yeah, I'm not touching that ball. I'm here. But anyways,
that was always funny back in the day. Like you would watch like the All-Star NBA team. You know, like when you had like the Dream Team back in the day with like Jordan and Shaq and all of them and. Boy, listen to me sound like a sports dude. And they would go up against like the Japanese team.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of comical to watch. You know,
I mean,
before they got like
for the
they
longest
were still recovering
time.
from being nuked
Yeah.
still. You
I
know?
was saying
Like,
basketball for the longest time, and it wasn't until like the last 3 Olympics that it's been this. It was like that was the gimme gold medal for the USA. Like it's like, hey, the Olympics are happening, we're playing basketball, and it was kind of just like, so we're going to give the medal to the USA, right? Like, it's only been recently that it's been a competition.
Yeah. The U.S. baseball team shows up in Japan, and they're like, welcome to our field.
Yeah. So then right after women's indoor volleyball, the match ended, they were like, we're now going over to men's beach volleyball. And I was like, cool. And I can't remember what one of the teams was, but the other team was
Did they have a really short guy?
No. It was so the beach volleyball, I don't know if this is like just for beach volleyball or if they have different tiers, because the women's indoor was six players on each team. The men's outdoor was just 2 guys, and I'm sure or beach volleyball. But anyways, it was some like Caribbean team, which makes sense. And I mean, not that it's everyone. It's the Olympics. It's supposed to be inclusive. Everyone play, but they're like against Finland, and I was like, I paused, and I was like, do they? Like, this is if it was indoor volleyball, I wouldn't have paused. But I was like, do they? Do they have beaches in Finland? I was just like, where are these guys practicing?
Well, you know what
I mean, they have beaches, of course, because there's water around. But like, do they have the like sandy, hot beaches? And I literally had to look it up because I was just like, where are these guys practicing?
Yeah, I was trying to think of like, because we all know Cool Runnings based on a true story of Jamaica running a bobsled
same
team.
sort of scenarios.
I was like, what would be like the weirdest combination? Like a sailing team on some small African country that has no water.
I would like a professional ice skater, a figure skater from like
Botswana,
from like
Rwanda or South Africa or something.
Somewhere, one of the really desert places like Dubai or something. This would be like weird. I mean, I guess Dubai has money for ice
they
rinks.
got an ice skating rink in Dubai for sure.
Yeah, they got money. So not Dubai, they're too rich, but just somewhere else where it's just a desert country, and it's like, here comes, blah 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 from the nation of this, and it's like, oh, look at that figure. Like, where's he practicing? Where's this boy practicing at?
There was something I saw. I wasn't watching the Olympics, but I saw like a video of it. There is because there's always the talk of like, oh, they should have like one regular guy on like the 100-meter dash or something. There is like some kind of thing in the swimming where they bring like a gold medalist in, and then the rest of the like rows just regular people, right? Well, and it's like he has to wait like a minute before he's allowed to jump in the water, after they start, and just back and forth to the other side before they get all the way across.
What?
Like,
I mean, it reminds me of this pro basketball player who is touted as the worst professional basketball player ever to play. And he regularly, or he did, he's older now, but for a long time, he would regularly go to like places where people were playing pickup basketball because everybody would be insulting. Look how bad.
Yeah.
And he would go and destroy them. And it's like, yeah, just remember,
worst
professional,
NBA player.
yeah, any professional athlete in anything is, even if they're the worst of that, to be professional is a very elite club. Even being the worst in that as a professional means you are better than pretty much everybody else who plays that sport. So when people are backseat,
don't ever try and compete with someone who does something for a living.
Look how crap his defense is. Like, oh, I guarantee he will school you. Like, it's just like just seeing that, and like, yeah, no, professional athletes are something else. Like, that's one thing for the Olympics. Like, even though I don't watch it that much, is professional athletes are. Well, I mean, that's the whole point. You're pushing your body to those limits. But like,
like Michael Phelps or something. Like, he trained like 12 hours a day in the pool 7 days a week when he was getting all those gold medals and whatnot. Anyway, I have no interest in the Olympics this year. You know, once it's all said and over, I might go look at like men's ring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why the rings are interesting to me because that seems like a lot of like upper crazy body strength and stuff like that. And I don't know how they do those flips off the rings and land like flat. And all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care. I haven't paid attention to like I've seen stuff about like the shooting thing.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's a lot of gun stuff going on in this and like all that. But yeah, it's just the commercials are out of control. That's for when I was watching the soccer game and the water polo thing. Commercials every 10 seconds, and they were all Olympic based and weird stuff.
Olympics is all
and
about
a lot of TikTok stuff.
I didn't really see that much TikTok.
I saw a lot of TikTok commercials where
taking over.
Well,
so much.
No, but they're freaking out, right?
Yeah,
because they're about to get banned, and no one's stopping it.
Yeah,
and the courts aren't stopping it. So it's all just like sob stories about somebody, some Midwestern person who's made the business and their living off of TikTok, which is true or maybe not. Yeah, and they'll have other options, whatever. Don't want to get political about it, but yeah, the TikTok's freaking out, and they're doing all these Olympic commercials about, do you want to put Annie, who's 65 and runs her own doll making factory out of her house, out of business?
Yeah,
TikTok's the only way she got there.
TikTok's, been here for
and who knows if it's true or not, but yeah, a lot of that stuff. Anyway, good times.
Anyways, yep. The last thing I wanted to bring up is just the medal count. So for a while, China was on top. With the most, gold medal wise, the whole time U.S. has had the most medals total, but it's been a back and forth with China, and everyone was talking about if China wins the most gold medals, it will be the first time another country other than the USA has won the Olympics or won the most gold medals, not in their country. Like basically not in their home country. So anyways, I was like, oh, that's that's an interesting statistic. That's a statistic that's also partly dumb because since 1988, the U.S. has always been the most medals. And before that, it was Russia or the USSR. And that's the other thing I think is interesting is it really shows that being a world power, for whatever reason, dictates how good your athletes are. Because the USSR, back when it was huge, was dominating the Olympics. And then when America got caught up, we started going back and forth. Then there's the fall of the USSR, and all of a sudden they're gone. And then the U.S. is just all by itself. And then the last couple of Olympics, here comes China. I'm like, what does world power have to do with athlete skill? I guess money. Because I'm like, as you become a bigger world power, that means, you're going to be getting some gold medals. Because like China's
you're gonna do more,
the last couple
state sponsor your athletes more.
Yeah,
if you got
I was looking
at
summer and winter. The last couple of Olympics, China's just moving up that thing, and I'm just like, oh, I guess you can use the Olympics as a gauge of like how powerful a nation is.
Dude, there's like, oh man, I don't like Barbados. Maybe there's like it's the first Olympic gold medal they've ever won or whatever.
Yeah,
and the guy won it, and he's getting like $50,000, 2 houses, a lifetime supply at like 6 different restaurant chains.
Yeah.
Like he's set for life.
Yeah.
For this one gold medal. Like it's ridiculous.
It's well, that's the thing is like if you look at the gold medal count, it is kind of crazy because it's like there's United States, China, and then we have like France, Britain, some other Japan and stuff that all have in the double digits. And then after that, there's just this drop off where everybody's like onesie twosie. I'm just like, I guess it's like you said, money, man. Money wins sports, apparently, because it's like, yeah.
I mean, when you get to that level, if you can put enough into training and
yeah,
stuff like that. Anyway,
insane. Anyways, that's Donnell's Olympic review. Robert watching something other than anime.
I am watching anime still.
I know you're.
Of
course, you're watching anime still.
But no, I took a little break this past week and weekend. Watched some live action stuff.
Okay.
First I watched The Quiet Place Day 1.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good as the first two.
Okay.
Perfectly passable.
All right.
Just fine.
Yeah.
Hour and a half.
Okay, that's
Lovely.
nice. Yeah, no, an hour and a half, get it done.
It's actually pretty. It does have some coolness to it in that you get a lot of the monsters.
Right.
Just a lot of them, which raises questions and stuff that I don't have time to go into because I got some more important stuff I want to talk about. But yeah, it's just like drop a can and like 100 of them are on you out of nowhere. And it's very intense and stuff like where they make a mistake and make a sound and it's just all of a sudden a skyscraper is exploding.
Yeah.
And you're trying to run from them and whatnot. It's worth watching. It's
I'll
pretty good.
Check it out.
But it's not as good as the first two.
Okay.
For sure. Get into some good stuff. I watched a couple of very slow but well-paced Sunday type morning movies.
Oh, okay.
I'll say.
What we got?
Knox Goes Away.
Never heard of that.
This is on, I think, Netflix. It is Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Plays a hitman.
I'm assuming this is an older movie.
No, this is pretty recent.
Oh, this is recent. Okay.
No, this is like this year, I think, or maybe last year. Let's see here. Let me look it up. Knox Goes Away. It may be, maybe like top 5 Michael Keaton roles.
Okay,
that I've seen him in. This is late career. 2023. Okay, so pretty recent. March. Release date. Why does it say 2023? It was release date March 2024. There we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, box office $264,000. Ouch. Sorry, this is on Max. Great movie.
Okay.
Great movie. Anyway, Michael Keaton plays a hitman who is in the he's older. Obviously Michael Keaton's older, and he has an extremely progressive form of dementia. He's got weeks before he's gone.
Okay.
So this is the Knox Goes Away thing.
Right.
And he doesn't have like a good relationship with his family.
Most hitmen
and all this stuff. And his son kills somebody. His estranged son. And he has to figure out how to get his son out of this.
Okay.
While he's dealing with losing his mind and forgetting things all the time.
Okay.
And whatnot.
Okay.
Minor role by Al Pacino. It's really focused on Michael Keaton. James Marsden is in it as well. It was great.
Nice.
Very slow paced. Very kind of subdued for a Hitman movie.
Yep.
But yeah, just well paced. Just like you didn't feel like it was dragging at any point.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful background Sunday movie.
Awesome.
If you yeah.
That's a good thing to have around. They need to continue making those. Like everybody's trying to make the huge blockbusters, and I was like, no, just give me something to nice.
Yeah.
Throw on.
Yeah.
While I'm just trying to recover on a Sunday.
Next, an even slower movie.
Okay.
The King Tide. I don't think this is an A24 movie, but it sure feels like an A24 movie.
Okay.
It's very short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
It explores. So there's like an island of Luddites. Luddites, yeah. Yep. Where they don't believe in like a lot of technology and whatnot. They basically live on this island secluded. And very sad. Woman's having a baby, dies in childbirth. Not the woman, but the baby.
Yeah.
Stillborn. She's praying for, and all this stuff. And then a baby washes up on shore.
Okay.
Get within 10 feet of the baby. You're immortal, and you heal all wounds, heal hangovers. Just
okay.
Something about being in the vicinity of the child
heals
you.
Do you keep your mortality like if you walk away from the
Well,
baby?
it's kind of just like you don't age.
Okay.
Right.
Do you keep that if you walk away from the baby though? Like is
No.
that a permanent thing?
No. You kind of yeah, it explores what happens.
Yeah.
Because it's like it kind of jumps forward like 10 years to where she's, like an 11-year-old girl kind of thing. And just what would happen if you've got an isolated community on an island, like like 50, 60 people, and there's all of a sudden a child that's like this kind of miracle thing
Healer,
that can heal wounds and can't bring people back from the dead. But yeah, heal wounds and keep you young. Yeah. And all sorts of stuff.
And that is a very interesting concept.
It is a very A24 sounding concept, but it doesn't. Tried to look it up, and I couldn't understand what studio made it. It's like a Canadian movie.
Okay.
Really good though, but yeah, just short, very slow, interesting look at a concept. Yeah. Of what happens when an isolated community has a child that can heal people.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. That sounds cool.
There's interesting things that they do with it. Where, like there's like the other kids, and like there's other kids in the village or whatever, and they'll like take turns poisoning themselves with deadly like roots and berries and stuff, and then see if they can run to the girl before they die.
I mean that's guess that's
like interesting things. It's really worth a watch. But it's just that's another just slow background Sunday movie. Yeah. You wake up, it's raining, you got nothing to do.
Fantastic.
Just pop this on.
Nice.
And let it roll.
Netflix or
this is on Peacock actually. Peacock? No. No, the next thing I'm going to talk is on Peacock. I don't know where you can find The King Tide. Okay. I know where I found it.
Yeah.
$1 tier on Patreon will tell you where you can find this sort of thing, but and lastly, I watched a show that just came out like 3 weeks ago, but it didn't pop into my feed until this past week. It's on Peacock.
Are you about to say
Those About to Die?
Yes. Yeah,
Those About to Die. Fantastic.
I need to finish it. That's why I actually didn't bring it up yet.
Yeah, really good. It is about not the Roman Colosseum, though that's there in the periphery. It's being built. But it's about the horse racing. Yep. That's happening next door, and all the politics and commerce of it, and backstabbing and the racers. Very rated R. Yes. 100%. Lots of nudity, lots of sex, lots of blood.
Anthony Hopkins is in it.
Very briefly. Yeah. I think they used all their budget on Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
The acting's phenomenal. The writing is really good. They definitely skimped a little bit on the effects, on the background CG and stuff like that. Does not deter it. It's noticeable. Yep. But that's not why you're there. You're there for the story and the fun of it. I think it falters, which I'll once you finish it, I'll have to get your opinion. I think it falters just a little bit at the end. It sticks the landing at the very end, but there's a little bit of a trip that they do. It's really crazy when they actually get into the Colosseum. Yes. And what they do with that. But yeah, just fantastic. All about the palace intrigue, of the backstabbing of the Caesar and the sons vying for power, and the all the way down to like the street people, like trying to survive in this world and whatnot. Just a fantastic show.
It also has one of my, I won't say favorite, but definitely actor I like to keep an eye on just because of a lot of things. He's just a really good actor. It has my boy Iwan Roan, I think his name is.
Is that the guy from
Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I originally got introduced to him in Misfits, which is a fantastic show.
I forgot he was in Misfits. Yep. Oh, season 1 was so good.
Season 1, and that's where, But that's ever since I saw him in Misfits, whenever he pops up, and that's why when in Game of Thrones he pops up, and he killed, whether, I don't care how you feel about Game of Thrones, but he kills the role of Ramsay Bolton in that.
Absolutely.
And just
look, as much as I hate Game of Thrones and always have from the very beginning, there's still a lot of good people that came came out of that.
Yes.
And whatnot.
And so I really like to keep an eye on him because a lot of stuff he does. Like he's just a good actor. He's a good actor, and he knows how to play his roles well.
There's nobody that does a bad job. There's a lot of actors like having major roles in those about to die.
Yep.
They all do a fantastic job. Yeah. Even the child actors.
It's a good
are really good. Yeah, no, they put everything that they had. Well, not everything, but almost they put like 90% of what they had into developing the characters and the story. And then for as grandiose as it is, you can just tell that they skimped a little bit on the effects budget. Yeah. While still going hard on like volcanoes exploding and major giant horse races and fleshing out all of Rome and all that stuff. But you just overlook it because the story's so good and the acting's so good.
Yep.
Those about to die on Peacock.
Yeah.
Rare to have something come off of Peacock that's like an original that I'm like, oh wow, this is really something. Yeah.
Real quick, this will be real fast. So something I watched. I rewatched recently Home Alone.
Okay.
And
I bet that holds up.
Well, not only does it hold up, it made me realize, like, because when I watched it as a kid, I don't think about these things. Macaulay Culkin was a really good child actor.
Oh yeah.
Like just watching his expressiveness and his responses and how he played the scenes, like he's a
good adult actor.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, I think when it comes to child actors, a lot of times things get over, or their mistakes get overlooked because it's like, well, it's a kid. But it's like he was killing it. He was on point with like how you should react here, how you should do this, and like
especially for such a physical comedy role.
And how young he was. I'm just like, this kid is killing it.
Yeah, there was a reason he was so huge.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a long time since
The Good Son.
The Good Son.
So this is Macaulay Culkin and who plays Frodo?
Oh,
not Frodo. Yeah, Frodo.
Yeah, I know. I see it.
Why can't I think of that?
Why can't I get this? This is
Elijah Wood.
Thank you. I wanted us to get it without looking it up.
Both of them as child actors in this, and I don't remember the whole plot, but basically Macaulay Culkin plays a kid who's living with his mom. They're kind of like out in the woods or something, and there's like another kid that she's like taking care of, but is not her kid. And Macaulay Culkin is like murderously psychopathic.
I have not seen this, but
kind of like
remember
bullying this other kid.
Trailers for this when it was coming out,
and it is really, it's really good, but it's like, oh my God, this is the Home Alone kid, and he is doing a whole different kind of maniac character.
I gotta watch this. Actually, I need to watch this. Yeah, I remember
the ending's rough.
I remember when I was, because it came out in 1993, so I was too young. But I remember seeing trailers for this and being like, because I had just, like you said, this is Home Alone kid, and then seeing him in this and being like,
93 was a crazy year for movies, man.
I gotta go. No,
you should watch it.
I never saw
and
it, but I need to go back and watch
the acting Macaulay Culkin does in that, still as a kid is crazy.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's what we got.
We're gonna take a break there, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about season 4, episode 3 of Snowpiercer.
All right, we are back with episode 4 of season 4 of Snowpiercer, Life Source.
I guess they mean the engine.
Yeah. Talk about the engine, I'm assuming. It's the only that makes sense.
Starts out with a Ruth monologue. She talks about being street gang leader.
Yeah.
As a child.
Yeah, got a little back on Ruth. She wasn't always the prim and proper. That's why she fell into guerrilla leader so easily.
Leighton investigating, the doctor.
Yeah.
Lightfoot? Headwood.
Yeah.
And he's like, she took the shoes and all her stuff.
Took her husband's shoes, which she wouldn't leave without them shoes.
And then he drops a great line, which is, she's like, what is that? Josie's like, what is that? How does that help? And it's like, I know how to treat them when I find them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. Truth. Ruth ends her monologue with 471 souls strong.
Yeah.
That's not what they were doing earlier.
No, it was not. But
they should have been.
Yeah.
Because then they could have subtracted 2. It could have been 473.
Yep.
Right? Because 2 people died? 3 people. 2 people.
Wait, who
but then
die?
They gained 1.
They gained 1, but no. Who died? Zara died.
Okay, so it would have been... Okay. So I guess it would have been the same number.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody
But the baby's
died.
gone.
Baby's gone, but it's not dead.
You subtract the baby. It's not there.
It's not there. Yeah. Okay. Subtract the baby.
But yeah, no, that's why I was saying like early on, and the first episode was about Snowpiercer was like, yeah, they need to be tracking something other than train cars.
You can't be tracking train cars
at New Eden. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could track train cars. This never would change, seeing as they're all just being used as buildings and stuff now. But yeah, so we get this opening, and then we cut to Till being let out of some sort of box, and we're current time, and I'm a little, I won't say disappointed. Like I said, it's only episode 4, and I'm sure we're gonna get into, but like we're present line on Snowpiercer, and I feel
don't think we're gonna get any more past stuff.
I really want to see how we got from where we ended in the past, which was actually everything looking decent. I mean, I'm sure they're going to explain it in some way, but I was hoping we get to see some of it. But yeah, I'm kind of there with you too. I'm like, are we not going to get, like, where part of me doesn't want to spend a bunch of time jumping around in time. The other part of me is like, I would kind of like to see what happened.
How did we get to labor camps?
Yeah, especially because they keep referring to Mel and how, I mean, she's obviously not on the train, which seems like a leap because I don't know how you get her off the train. And also, like, it seems like it sounds like she doesn't know exactly what's going on the train, but before the train left, she signed off on all this. Almost. Like, it sounds like Mel's on board with whatever's going on, except she just doesn't know what's going on the train. But I'm just like, how did we get there? How did we get to there? But anyways, we're back with Till. Labor camps, like you said, they're basically treating all the previous Snowpiercer residents as just a workforce. That this what was it? United? I forget what they were called. The United something Alliance that just took over, and just very, very. I mean, we're seeing like wounds on people and weird scarring. Where I'm like, this is not just a friendly like, hey, get this work done and we can save the world.
Let's okay. So there's 2 storylines.
Yes,
let's focus on the train storyline, and we'll go back to the New Eden storyline. I don't understand why they didn't just kill Till.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Yeah, for what she did.
Yeah. I mean, so it's kind of weird. So yeah, essentially, Till, for whatever reason, was in this box and being tortured, but she gets let out. And then during this, she runs into Ben, and Ben gets called to go to see the main guy in charge, where he's basically like, hey,
the admiral.
You do something for me, maybe I'll give you back 10-hour days. And it's like, oh, so we're really fucking these people over like
12-hour days, and then like over 12, so probably 16 hours.
Yeah, probably like 16 or something. Like, yeah, these people are being worked to the bone, and it's because he wants him to go back to fix something that one of his guys...
Well, not fix something, but modify one of the cars.
Yes. Yeah. Because one of his guys got electrocuted doing it. Guy looked fairly normal. But they have alluded to at one point, Ben calls the guard guys animals. So they've alluded to, like, they're not quite human.
I mean, we still don't know what's going on with the black smoke that was coming out of them, or why they need the suits to breathe.
Exactly. Like, something about them. They like I said, this guy looked fairly human, but they also, like I said, there's definitely it's going to be revealed something's up with these guys. Yeah. They're not, because he even says like maybe this is what he did when he experimented on his animals or whatever, referring to like guard guys.
But yeah, mad scientist.
Yep.
Nemo. Yeah, very interested in him, like in his death. So I think we're gonna find out that Nemo created these guys.
Yeah.
Or something for sure.
I mean, I think he's going to be the guy who created these guys, and also had something to do with the whole freezing of the planet and all that. Like, this guy, he's got a lot more going on than we've been alluded to so far.
A lot of interesting stuff dropped in this episode, for sure. I think it was too convenient that like Till and Ben are like, oh, we got to figure out what he's up to and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's a doorway for Ben and Till to get in to talk to him.
Even more so, the thing that got me is like they've established. I mean, one is Till was very much a part of getting Audrey off the train, and they've established that she's been a problem.
Well, I mean, Till was supposed to be the one getting off the train.
I know, but I mean, they've established he's been a problem for him. So when Ben's like, yeah, I can do this for you, but I'm going to need an extra pair of hands, and he's like, Till, I would be like, no,
anyone else,
like exactly, like I'm not giving you what right now at least seems like the biggest like ruckus rouser of the group. They don't know how involved Bill or now I can't remember his name, but the one dude is Ben is, but like Till's been a thorn in their side this whole time. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you want public enemy number 1 to help you? We'll go ahead. Yeah, that makes sense. You can take her. But yeah, they go to talk to him. trying to get him to, side with them. But he denies them. And very much is the company man, as Ben calls him. And then they get sent back to this train.
Well, I want to mention, like, he drops a line before they're kind of interrupted that the admiral wasn't always the admiral.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what are we going to find out about this guy?
Yeah.
The kind of lead bad guy right now, and what his deal is. I can't tell.
No, yeah.
I've got no theory at all, like what's going on with him.
I mean, and this is jumping to the end, but he is definitely aware of things more than others because they bring up, like, when they're like the trap that they're supposedly set up is for it wasn't for them, it was for Big Alice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he knows, like, it's still out there, and it's I'm just like, I'm very, very interested in what, like, they're setting up some
why did they want the baby?
Yeah.
How were they talking to Hedwood?
Yeah, how did they get in touch with Hedwood? Because it couldn't have been before New Eden was established. And then also, like, why do you need the baby? What, like, how were they communicating? Like, I mean, this is jumping back to the New Eden storyline, but there's a part where they're talking with what's-his-face. And I can't remember his name. The guy who was married to Psycho Chick. And they talk like,
John?
No, not John. I can't remember his name. But anyways, like, they're like, you were right. Those voices you were hearing was them. And I'm just like, yeah, but how, like,
why would they be talking?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like there's so much. I mean,
there's a lot of mystery going on.
There's a lot of mystery, which I like. It's nice to set up some stuff as long as we're going to, especially with this being the last season, as long as we're going to be answering questions as we go.
I wish we had gotten Mel.
Yeah, we didn't know Mel in this episode, except like I said, they keep talking about her.
Yeah.
Like the one science.
They didn't have enough budget for Jen Connolly to be in every episode.
But the one scientist dude, even like I said, because that's the thing is, when Ben approaches him about, like, hey man, like, come over to our side, join us, his response is like, Mel would want to do this, which means, like, it's one of the things, like, they've made it very clear Melody is, and like I said, it's probably because he doesn't know exactly how things are going down on the train, but Melody is signed off on whatever they believe this plan to be and, like, is behind it and stuff. And it's just like, okay, that's why I want to know what happened in the past. Like, how did we get from here to Ben and Till on the train being treated like slaves and Melody being somewhere, but being like, this is what we need to do. Like, anyways, Ben and Till get dispatched to go modify this train car. And once again, I'm like, what is going on with security? I'm not letting the rogue engineer who may or may not want to do what I told him to, and public enemy number one alone in a train car to do, like, they're just left to do whatever they want. Do whatever they want. They're just in there poking around, trying to figure out what's really going on. And the whole time I'm like, why? Why would you not be watching them? Why would you just be like, hey, go do that thing we told you to do. We're not gonna watch them.
Yeah.
We're obviously at odds with each other. So this is all going to be fine.
So I thought that they were building a gas chamber for this concentration camp.
Yeah.
Like, this is going full Holocaust up in here. And we do find out that it is and then I was like, okay, is it a chamber where they're going to make the monsters? The monster soldier guys?
Yeah.
But then, of course, we find out that, it is a gas chamber, but it's for the New Eden people that are coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's for Big Alice, as they say. And also, like, we don't know, because like I said, so they decide to modify it to try and take it. I thought, dude, like we said last time, I thought we lost Till. Once again, is like they modify it because they make it a
Till's
trap.
Gonna be a monster.
Yeah, they make it a trap to get him. And but the scientist dude, once again, proving that he is loyal to the cause, so they probably were out. They were never going to convince him to join them. He warns her, like, we got to get out of here. And then Till tackles him, and I thought for sure, I was like, oh my gosh, like, they're gonna kill Till. And in episode 4, Till dying is something that can happen, but that's like an episode 8 or later thing, in my opinion. You cannot kill her in the first half of this season.
You would have made her one of the monsters if that's what was going on.
True. But no side effects. They spring it and they basically like, your sedative wasn't strong enough, and we're like, oh,
dude, if they'd ended the episode right there, I would have been like, ooh,
yeah.
This is a story. This is something I need. That you can't leave that out there.
But and that's pretty much the train storyline. Just basically them preparing something for Big Alice, because they know that they're going to be coming after that kid. I want to know, like, they didn't show us, like, so is is the doctor and whoever her soldier escort was, have they made it back to the Snowpiercer yet, or are they still on their way? Like, I just like Leighton actually is talking about like chasing them, like, oh, they can't be that far. So I'm just like, I'm wondering, like, are they where Snowpiercer is in relation to everything?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And how's the doctor traveling? I guess you'd have to have a suit. How are they carting the baby around?
They gotta have some. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they gotta have something. But
they could have a train.
They could have a train or something else. But that's the other thing. Well, no, they don't have a train because that's why they had to steal Snowpiercer. They made that clear. Like they built the track, but they never had a train.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my thing is like,
but could have a little train.
That's the thing that's interesting about this group. You know, because we're 4 seasons in. This is the first time we're hearing of them. Is like they could have. Who knows? We don't like. They could have anything. Who knows what they've been doing for the past 3 seasons?
Yeah.
In their underground bunker. I mean, like I said, they obviously have enough, as we established.
Well, more than 3
obviously,
seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
They obviously
like, what,
have enough people and resources to build a freaking train track. So it's like, which is another reason I want to see more of the past. Anyway, moving on.
Well, we also don't know when they built the train track. If it happened after the snow.
Well, it did. Because I think that's what catches them off guard is when Melody and them are going. She's like, this track wasn't here last time we passed.
Yeah. Okay.
So I forget how long it takes them to go around the track, but let's just say it's a year.
A year, yeah.
Yeah, building a train track in deep freeze snow in a year is quite the endeavor.
Maybe it's 2 years.
I don't think it's 2 years. I think it's a year. I thought it actually might have been even less, but still, yeah. I'm just like, yeah, no, these people got resources.
Lots of slave labor.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing how they use their people. But yeah. So anyways, back to New Eden. Leighton is like, I'm going after him.
Tries to steal the train.
He's just like, I'm taking Big Alice. And like before they kind of like they eventually work it out that they can. But I'm just like, listen, Leighton, like, don't get me wrong, I understand you are a father. Your daughter got stolen. Your kind of sort of half girlfriend, not really, got murdered. And you got some vengeance and rescuing to do, but like you can't just take the one thing, because like I said, it was before they had established later on in the show, like, oh, we might have enough power. So I'm like, as far as I know, it's like Big Alice was powering the city.
Yeah.
You can't just take the train. Like when he's just like, I'm taking the train. I'm like, well, like even I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there. Everybody here. I mean, I would not want to lose my daughter either, and all that stuff. But like. That's like that's like being on a space station. Like, I'm taking all the oxygen. Like, well, hold up.
I like when they're like, your days of stealing trains are over.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so basically everybody gets together and they're like, no, you're not taking the train. I gotta say, one person, I hope he gets better, who's been annoying me since the beginning of this series is Alex. Just her weird, detached from because it's 2 things. One is like, it's obvious he's having some issues with being that her mom didn't come with her, like that they split up. But one is like, okay, well, none of these other people have anything to do with that. And then also it's like, plus it's like, why did you, if you're just going to be so detached and away from everybody and kind of insulting everybody and not caring about everybody and acting like your needs are above everybody else's, I'm like, well, why are you here? Like, I was just like, why are you here, Alex? You were kind of getting on my nerves with your like, oh no, and also how she like claims Big Alice as hers, like, this is mine. It's like, it's not. Just like Leighton.
Well, I mean, it kind of is hers. She's been running it forever.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. When you turn into a generator and set it up in town, it can't be yours anymore. But anyways, yeah,
I don't understand, because now we know the mystery of what she's got going on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why was she keeping it so
exactly like
and
that's
being so mysterious?
I mean, yeah, I guess you don't want to cause a panic, so you don't announce it to everybody. But like, I feel like you should probably get some more people clued in. That, hey.
Well, yeah, so let's talk about her thing.
Yeah.
So she's been tracking the bird. Mm-hmm. She's got the bird.
Yeah.
And she goes out to find it because it's died.
Yep.
Which she knew was going to happen eventually. Mm-hmm. And she finds out that it was insanguinated.
Yes.
Which is a word I feel like she would not know, because that's a doctor word.
Yeah.
Not an engineering word.
Yeah.
But it basically means it ran out of blood. Mm-hmm. I do like when Javi's like, do we got vampires here?
Yeah, we got to worry about vampires.
If they drop some vampires into the show, I would understand. I would accept it.
You're like, I can ride with that idea.
We got frozen people. We got weird smoke people.
Yep.
Throw in some vampires.
Why not?
The last season.
Sprinkle in a little bit of vampires to wrap this up.
There are no rules.
A little seasoning for the end of the series.
But we find out that like there's an edge to like the zone where New Eden is. And if you go outside that zone,
you're pretty much
your blood starts coming out of your body or something. That's why she's been getting the nosebleeds. Seems like a big deal to me.
Yeah, seems like information to everybody. Because I mean, as New Eden, let's just say New Eden's successful and growing, and no one still's a kid. Like people might want to start exploring a little bit. Getting out there. Oz is already living up on a mountain by himself. I'm just saying people might want to start spreading
Oz is
out.
losing his damn mind.
I remember his name now. Earlier, didn't but yeah, like people might want to explore, get out there, and I'm just like, you should probably warn, like, hey, there's a like even because that's her worry is this actually a safe spot or is this a safe bubble? Because bubbles eventually pop. And so that's what her worry is. And even if it is only a safe spot, like this should be information people know. Like, hey, don't go past this spot.
Yeah, let people know.
Or else you will die. Whether it's a bubble or it's a dome that's going to stay, everyone needs to know this spot, blood out, body dead. Like that's vital information for everybody.
And also, like, Josie is past that spot.
Mm-hmm. But Josie's a special case.
True.
She has the snow or cold person stuff going on. So
yeah.
Josie.
And why is Oz not losing all his blood when he goes up on the mountain?
Because he's still in the spot. Like I think he's still in the bubble. Like they made it kind of clear. But yeah, still, I mean, what if Oz decides to move a little bit farther away from town? But anyway,
it'll be interesting to find out more about this bubble thing and like what's going on with the area where New Eden is and whatnot. Yeah.
So
by the way, you drop this data into town, they don't get to take the train. Because you need that to run at any moment.
Yeah. Which is another thing they kind of bring up, actually, when they're talking about Leighton taking the train and everyone's arguing is Ruth brings up, she's like, well, this is, if something does happen, this is our only form of escape. And I'm like, I'm not trying to say, like, it's not going to happen, but like, okay, so you can get Big Alice up and running. Sure. Gotcha. Everybody can't fit on Big Alice. And the rest of the train cars are scattered about in the snow. Yeah. Like, you're not getting, if someone shows up to kill you, one is it took them long enough to get Big Alice off the, I guess if you're not trying to keep everything powered up, it probably doesn't take as long to get Big Alice back functional. Because the main concern was making sure there was enough power to keep everybody alive. So yeah, probably, maybe you can get Big Alice back up in 20 minutes. But then what? Like who you gonna cram everybody, 471 people into Big Alice, the engine by itself to run? I was like, no. Unless you're, like I said, are we playing like only the important people get to go? Like, who's making this call, Ruth? So yeah, I was just like, when she said that as one of the things, is like, yeah, we might need Big Alice to escape. I was like, how do we escape on Big Alice? Because the train cars are scattered about being used as sleeping tents and a bar and and growing vegetables. So how you gonna get? I still don't know how you got them off the track to begin with.
Yeah, they're not even like on their wheels anymore.
No,
they're just sitting on the ground. Yeah.
So I'm just like,
can we talk about the AgSec car for a second?
Yes.
Because this is like the big crux of the thing. Is that like if we take away the engine, we don't have enough power to power AgSec. And they've been talking about this in the previous episodes too. AgSec.
Yes,
they went into this car.
Yep.
It is BS.
100%.
They are growing palm trees.
Yep.
And birds of paradise plants.
Yep.
Birds of paradise do not fruit.
No.
They do not create
edible
food.
Yeah.
And palm trees take forever and require a lot of heat and humidity and a shit ton of water. These are not the plants that you grow.
Where did you, like...
Maybe if you grew some potatoes or something...
Where did you get the seed form from? Because if we go back to when Snowpiercer was running as intended and they had a farm, they weren't growing palm trees, and it was like carrots.
They probably just had a palm tree beach car.
Yeah.
That we just didn't get to see.
So what? You tell me all the potatoes and carrots didn't survive and all you had was palm tree seeds left?
I mean, like 50% of the plants are birds of paradise.
Yeah.
They look cool.
No, they look fantastic.
But they're tropical plants.
You ain't eating them.
You need, maybe if you grew some potatoes,
you could eat them, but
the car wouldn't need so much power.
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean,
it was ridiculous. I mean, it looks cool to the layman, but if you know what the plants are,
you could attribute it to being that these are, like I said, there's a bunch of people who've lived on a train all their lives and know nothing about, growing stuff, and so they're just like, well, let's grow this stuff, and it just turns out like this is these are not the plants you need to grow, but they don't know. This is the first time they've ever had to do farming on their own. But yeah, so then Leighton, after getting denied to take the train, decides he's going to steal the train.
Yep. With the help of
Javi, who signs on. And all I have to say is, just like on the train, where I'm not saying Leighton is an enemy, though he kind of is, but just like on the train back on Snowpiercer, how they just let Till and Ben go into the back car. I'm like, why is nobody like Javi and Leighton are blatantly walking in broad? It's not even nighttime.
Yeah.
In broad, like, walking around, going to these special spots where Javi just keeps opening panels and flipping switches. I'm like, hey, what the fuck's going on over there?
Well, not even just that.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, you have somebody glued to Leighton.
Yeah.
But
and
secondly,
just watching the key,
not just because, but because somebody attacked your power grid
exactly
the other day.
Yeah.
Roach has somebody stationed
at
all the infrastructure points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're just casually walking. I'm like, it should not be this easy to steal a train while everybody's awake.
Well,
especially.
He doesn't steal the train, but he resets
power.
He updates the power grid.
Involves, that's the other thing is like, and the scene that happens right after this blew my mind. It involves, they finally, they go to AdSec and they do get busted there. But Leighton just pulls the, I'm in charge, don't be asking me questions move, which I don't know how that worked after everyone knows he's trying to steal the train, but it works kind of. So he does go to ask Ruth, but I'm like, you shouldn't have to ask Ruth. You should be like, hey, Roach, can I get some people in here? But anyways, then that night they go to flip the final switch. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, Leighton, do it. And Leighton does it. And when they flip that final switch, power goes out everywhere.
Yeah. I should have heard people the entire town should have been screaming.
In panic.
Yeah.
Goes out everywhere for like 5 seconds. So it's not long, but it's still enough to be like, what the fuck? And stuff. Yeah. And also, once again, and people know someone may be trying to steal the train. So when the power goes out, my first thing is like, hey, might want to check on the train. Yeah. But the very next scene is the chick from AdSec walking into Ruth and be like, hey, did you ask Leighton to check something out on AdSec? And Ruth be like, no. And I'm like, no, power just went out. This is not even a conversation. Yeah. Where's Roach and the boys? We rallied
why
up.
don't you have like security on the engine? Yeah.
And then we
also
forward.
The caboose, I can't even remember the name, but Alice.
Big Alice.
Right? Is like not next to in the town.
No,
it's way far away from the outskirts of town. Yeah.
And so then the other thing is like, so then Leighton and Javi are going to the train to steal it the next morning, which is the other part. The next morning, after last night the power went out, and also, even though they shouldn't have, you just had a conversation with one of your people about, hey, it was weird. Javi and Leighton were in AdSec for some reason. When like, did you? And they said you told them to be there, and after you told her no, I'm just like, okay, then how did we get to the next morning? My thing is like, if I'm Ruth and I'm one, like I said, the power went out, and two, one of my people just told me like, hey, Leighton and Javi are acting weird in AdSec, I'm going to them that instant, not the next morning.
I mean, they do confront them in
the next morning.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just saying, a lot of stuff can happen overnight. I don't care about your good night's sleep.
Yeah, that's why you flip the switch on the power. First of all, it's like, there's a timer that starts when you flip the power.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You do that at the last second.
Yeah, that's the last thing you do before you're in the train and hauling out of town. Like, you're sprinting, like, it's like flip the switch and you're... No,
yeah, Leighton is flipping the switch while Javi is like
on
getting
the train
going.
And because honestly, that would have made sense, especially with that power outage. Like, that power outage gives you a moment of chaos. Yeah. So you flip that switch and you're the only person prepared to fly. You're running top speed through the town while everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. Getting on the train that Javi has warmed up and ready to go. Yeah. Not just chilling at the thing.
Crazy.
Anyway,
they decide to have a town vote.
Yep.
And the town votes to let him take the train. Mm-hmm. They say he's got 3 weeks, but he said he needed 6.
Did he? I'd missed that part.
So I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the town would vote that way.
I mean,
a lot of people would.
Yeah.
But not the whole town.
Because I'm about to say, I could see a lot of people, because Leighton was, for the longest time, their leader in the revolt. And he got them through a big portion of that revolt and stuff, and made a lot of sacrifices for people during that. So I could see, like Roach was saying, like, I could see a lot of people siding with Leighton. But I don't know if I could.
I think really what you do is you take the whole town with you, except for a skeleton crew that needs to keep things running.
But New Eden,
how? So that way you reduce the power need.
On what though?
On the train with some cars. There are some cars still on the track.
How are you gonna get them on the track? Okay,
they're already on the track.
Okay, all right, yeah, maybe, yeah. But then that's also taking a bunch of people into what is most likely going to be a dangerous mission once again. And I'm like, just like they were saying, anybody who goes with you is a volunteer. I'm like, yeah, these people. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of these people have fought and stuff, but like also that would kind of be my whole thought if I was on team. don't let them take the train. I'm definitely not going with you. Like, we just spent the last however long fighting for survival on Snowpiercer. And then we finally get our own little piece of paradise. We're no longer running around on those tracks, trying to survive, trying to keep the train together, worried about, assaults. I'm definitely not volunteering to go with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So, like, that's the other thing is I don't think you could get people to get on the train either. I think most people are like, no, F that.
There was way too many people that were going voluntarily. Ruth decides she's going.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that decision. I love my Ruth.
Yeah.
I like that she's going to be there. She's going to have some good lines. But she's the mayor.
Yeah.
She needs to be.
I mean, the only thing is I can see is because, like you said, especially
making sure the train comes back.
Especially if Leighton did say he needs 6 weeks. Like, Leighton could promise, I'll bring the train back in 3 weeks, and then they're gone. So my thing's like, I do kind of get like.
No, you send Roach with the gun and the bullets.
Yeah, but
and say if he doesn't come back, start heading back in a week and a half.
Yeah.
You shoot him and you bring the train back.
Yeah, and once again, I'm not saying that Roach was very much because Roach was very much.
He's a company man.
He was playing both sides in this argument, though.
Yeah.
He's very much on Team Ruth, but he also was very much like, I'd be going. I'm right there with you. So I'm like, I could see Roach being bended a little bit. While I'm like, but my daughter, man, my daughter. So like, I don't know. No offense to Roach in this scenario, especially since he was the one who kind of like brought it to a vote. Like in this scenario,
is Roach's daughter in New Eden, or does she stay on Snowpiercer?
I think she's in New Eden. I don't think they split them up.
Snowpiercer,
maybe I don't know. But I could see why Ruth wouldn't send Roach just because he was.
I don't know, I just feel like Roach is at the end of the day, he's a company man. He's going to do what has to get done.
I mean, yes and no.
He
already technically revolted against the company because he was freaking leader of the brakemen, and then all of a sudden he's fighting against them. So it's just like he has a conscience and a moral compass, and that moral compass, especially when he's a father, and then another father comes to him and like, my daughter, man, what would you do if it was your daughter? Next thing you know, he's like, well, I'd be taking the train too. So
I guess it depends on where if his daughter's in New Eden.
Yeah.
Then he's getting.
Oh yeah, if his daughter's in New Eden, he's not gonna let someone, even if it is somebody else's daughter, he's not gonna let. Yeah.
But no, it's gonna be interesting to see Ruth have to stand up to Leighton and be like, "No, we were taking this train back."
It's gonna be interesting.
Good episode.
Yeah.
Nice
return after a quick break. In case you didn't.
Still,
realize.
This season is doing pretty good.
We're
it's
4
a little
episodes
off the rails.
in. There's some weirdness with things that have happened, but overall, I mean, this is definitely, these 4 episodes are miles above season 3, and stuff. Which I'm glad.
Sorry, 3 episodes.
3 episodes. 3 episodes. There are only 3 episodes in, but so these 3 episodes.
Much better than season 3.
Yeah,
for sure,
I'm enjoying this so far. Which is, I'm just hoping we keep. I don't want to make another train pun. I just hope we keep it on track. We just can't help it. But and we can finish out this season strong. Because I'm glad. Like I was saying, I'm glad this show got a chance to wrap it up. And I hope.
Definitely not seeing why they would have shelved it.
I don't know.
Other than just weirdness with that acquisition and whatnot.
Yeah, probably.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchingitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchingitpodcast@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, last week didn't have an episode because, there wasn't a Snowpiercer, but maybe you missed some of our content. We had a great episode on Deadpool and Wolverine. Had a pretty good talk in it, I felt. Had a good time with that. Reviewing some of our recent travels. Go back and check that stuff out if you haven't, and give us any rating reviews. 5 stars. Thanks so much for listening.
People didn't know that I did that live every time.